Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Welch, and I'm going to be going over the Quick Insured Brokerage Quoting Tool. What we're going to go through today in this video is just the ins and outs of the tool and how it can help you in your day-to-day business and selling and understanding how the market looks and on a day-to-day basis. And so we'll go ahead and get started. What you're seeing here in front of you is just the home page of the quoting tool. What this will allow you to do is a multitude of things, but I just wanted to be able to show you exactly what you'd be looking at if in fact you were logged into the account. So what you do when you get logged in, it'll bring you to this page, and what you can do from here is a couple different things. One of which is you can start running a quotes. So if you wanted to start running a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage or a final expense life quote, you would just simply click the purple button that says Run Quote, and it brings you to the page where you start typing in the information to move on through the quote information. The other two things that you can do is one is a My Account button and the other is Contact Support. The My Account button, what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to change your password, update your information, update your account, just account settings that pertain to your individual account, and if you wanted to update those or change those at any time, you would do that using the My Account button here. The second button here is a Contact Support button. This is if you're getting stuck in the tool, you have questions about what you're looking at, you may have issues logging in, changing your information, etc. You can use this Contact Support button to write an email into the support team, and they'll get a response back to you right away with an answer to your question. Beyond that, from this screen, the really only thing and next thing to do is to run a quote. So we'll go ahead and start here with Medicare Supplement. By clicking Run Quote, it's going to bring you to the next page, which is the quote screen. From here, you're going to type in a few different demographic information about the quote that you want to see. So you'll go ahead and type in a zip code. This will run any zip code, any state, any city in the entire U.S. And so if you're in Tennessee, if you're in Ohio, if you're in Maine, you can pull up quotes for your prospective client. It'll also tell you the county and the city and state that you'd be associated with in terms of that zip code. It'll also provide you the age, and so it's going to default to age 65, but as you can see here, you can select any type of age you wanted to look at, including the under 65 rates. You'll also be able to change the gender, the tobacco status, and which plan you wanted to look at. So for MedSup, we're going to default to Plan F, it being the most popular. However, if you wanted to look at a G or a high F or an N, you can do so, and you can switch that here before the quote is ran. Next thing here is the sort. We're going to default to sort by price, meaning we're going to label the quotes cheapest to most expensive. However, if you'd rather see the ratings or the order of the company based upon their rating, or they're in alphabetical order, you can choose to sort by those different parameters as well. And the last thing here is just the effective date. So if you wanted to see a May 1st rate or a June 1st rate, you can choose to see future effective dates by changing the effective date there. And the last box here is optional. It's not required, but if you did want to personalize this quote by typing in an insured's name, you can do so. It just kind of personalizes the quote. If you wanted to print it off or email it to somebody, you can put their name on it. So we'll go ahead and press Get Quote here. Because we sorted by price and we're on a Plan F for female 65 non-tobacco, those are the results that are going to populate based upon those demographics. As it gets pulled up here, you'll be able to see the quotes, the cheapest being at the top and the most expensive being at the bottom. So what you're looking at here is Manhattan Life at $111.26 a month is the cheapest plan according to your demographics. We're going to not only give you the price per month in the company, but we're also going to give you the household discount on the policy fee if it does apply. If the company does not have a policy fee in the state that you're running, or the company does not have a household discount in the state that you're running, these options won't populate. This will be blank. We'll also give you some company information, in particular their parent company name, if they have one, AM Best and S&P ratings if they have them, rating classes, so if they have a tiered rating class, different levels, a preferred and standardized benefits and things like that, we'll provide that rating class field, as well as the effective date you're looking at. So these rates came into effect in the market on 10/1/2015. So we just want to give you all the information available about the company and not just the rate. Up above the company field here is going to be your quick quote section. And so instead of having to click back and forth on the tool, you can simply just select a different plan or different, want to go to tobacco or non-tobacco, or you wanted to change the age. You can do so right from this screen and press Get Quote again rather than having to click back and forth. And so that just allows you to populate that information that way. Below each of the plans is a few different things. One is the plan details, and what this is going to do is it's going to populate a grid that'll show you what Medicare pays, what this plan pays, and then what the client would pay. And so because this is Plan F, the client would pay $0 for all the costs, but this just gives a good breakdown both to you as the agent and as the consumer. What benefits are associated with this plan. This can also be printed off and attached to the rate if you wanted to send that information along with it. We also have electronic application and PDF applications, if applicable. If they have like an electronic application process, you can click that eApp link. It'll then direct you to that company's login screen where you can log in and submit the business. So it's just directing you to where if you wanted to submit this business online, you can simply click that button. It'll direct you where you can do that. The PDF application is pretty self-explanatory. What this will do is it'll allow you to print off the application if you wanted to submit it by hand. On the left-hand side here, we have a few different toolbar options, and we'll go over these, each one of these. First is compare quotes. So if you wanted to compare, let's say, these two side by side, all you have to do is just click the company names, and it'll turn them green. And then once they turn green, they'll be up above here under the compare quote screen for the ones that you've chose to do side by side. This will allow you to do 5 side by side that you can then print off for export. So we'll just do 2 here. All you have to do then is click Compare Quotes. It's going to take you to a new screen. From this new screen, you'll be able to see each of the quotes side by side with their information. That can be printed or exported to PDF if you wanted to email this information out to somebody. So it just allow you a different way to kind of narrow down your results and kind of restrict the information that you share with your client. So to go back, all you have to do is click that back button there, and it'll direct you right back to the same screen that you had before. You don't have to rerun the quote or anything like that. It'll just take you back to the screen where you've previously selected which plans you wanted to compare. So we'll go ahead and uncheck those. All you have to do is then uncheck the company name, and it goes back to purple. The next compare button here is the universal compare, and this is if you wanted to compare across product lines. So if you wanted to compare a MedSup to a final expense, you can choose to do that here with this tool. All you have to do is click this globe icon. If you click that, it will then highlight in a different shade of purple which one you've selected, and it'll put it over here on the universal compare quotes. You would then just need to go run a Medicare supplement or a final expense plan. Do the same thing, click the globe icon, and then you compare those 2 cross products side by side. And this just allows you to kind of, if they're deciding between a final expense and a MedSup, or maybe you want them to get both, you can put both of those in a format that you can print off or send to them PDF with both options on there. In addition to that, we also have export buttons. The first is a print view. And so if you wanted to print exactly what was here in front of you, it's the same look and feel with all the companies on it. If you click that print button, it'll put it in a printer-friendly format. It'll strip out all the color to make sure you're not using all the ink in your printer, and you can print it off to provide that to a client. The next is a PDF generator. This is where the client label will come into play. If you wanted to generate a PDF of this exact screen here to send to John Smith, who we have the quote here running for, we can then export it to PDF. You can save it to your computer. You can attach it to an email. You can also print from here if you want to include the color on it. And this just allows you to kind of have a bit more of a professional look. And the third export is the Excel. This just allows you to dump all this data into an Excel database. We do have users that just like to deal with the data and don't necessarily want to deal with all the bells and whistles. If you want to just put this data into an Excel format that you can edit or cut and paste and things like that, that Excel file allows you to do it. Below that, we have a few different adjust your view sections. The first is an expand and contract quotes. This is the expanded view, essentially showing you all the information that we have available. If you'd rather have it be much simpler, you can unclick that expand quotes, and it's going to present a much more simpler view where it's just going to give you the rate and the company name. If you didn't want to confuse your client, you just want to provide the rate, and the rate's what's most important to them, you can just use this view that can then be printed from or exported on. The next button here is the Apply Discounts. If you wanted to apply this household discount to the rate, you can. And as you can see, as you add or take off this button, it'll add the 7% or 12% or 6% or whatever the household discount is to the rate, and the rates will adjust. Next button here is the annual rate. So if you wanted to see the annual rate versus the monthly, you can simply just click the annual rate here. It'll show you the annual rate that's available for that product, just in case you're dealing with an insured that wants to see the annual cost. The fourth button down here is the most important one, and that's the market analytics. And what this is going to do is a few different things. First is going to be the age increases. So if you're dealing with an attained age policy, and it'll label that right here in the rate type, for an attained age policy, each year the insured gets older, what that new price would be. And so you can see for Manhattan Life, 66 and 67, it's going to be the same price. At 68, it goes up 4.5%. If it's an issue age or a community-rated product, this box will not be shown, and this will be blank as it won't apply to those types of plans. The next we have here is the increase history. And so this is since 2010, which is when they modernized the MedSup plans. Every year that they changed rates, or every time that they changed rates, we'll give you the year that they changed, the date that they changed, as well as the amount that they affected the rate, and then the average rate increase for this type of plan in the state. And so this just gives you a good indication of how they've handled rate increases in the past. The next thing here is market data, and this is just NAIC data. We're going to give you lives insured, earned premium, loss ratios, and the market share both on a state and national level. And this is self-reported by the company. As you can see here, Manhattan has chosen not to report their financials to the NAIC, and so it's not applicable for them. However, you can see for Heartland National, they did report that information, and so you can see there are different types of loss ratios and market shares associated with that plan. The last thing here is select plans. If you are dealing with a state or product that does have select options, and you want to see those select plans available, all you need to do is click select plans. It'll then populate those in the list, and there'll be a big label here that'll say select right below the rate and let you know that this is a select plan that you're looking at. Beyond that, we also have the underwriting data. And so if you are dealing with somebody outside their open enrollment period, maybe they're switching plans, and you want to see not just based upon price, but also the previous medical history, what is available to that person, you can use our underwriting data to find out exactly that. And what this is going to do is show you look-back periods for each one of the conditions that is available. So we take this information directly out the apps themselves. You can either search or scroll through the conditions, and they're organized by category, so this is a circulatory system. And so let's say you're dealing with somebody, for argument's sake, that happened to have a heart attack in the medical history. All you need to do is click heart attack, and below it'll populate the look-back periods for each one of the companies. And so you can see here, heart attack, the look-back period is 5 years. So if they happen to have a heart attack within the last 5 years, they would have to answer yes on the application, and therefore it could be denied coverage for that company. And so this will just allow you to not just find out what's the best price, but also what company is applicable to my client. And so that's the underwriting. The last thing here is the filter quotes. And so if you wanted to only look at companies that contained a household discount, or only wanted to look at companies that didn't have a policy fee, you can include those filters to help you narrow down the results. If at any point in time you wanted to default to any of this, you always want to have the contracted view when you run quotes, or you always want to have the market analytics popped up when you run them. You can adjust those defaults by the settings button up here, or by going to your My Account page that we discussed in the previous minutes of this call. And so that's one way you can actually default to actually set your account up to show exactly what you want it to see. So that's the Medicare Advantage tool. We try to make it easy and as simple as possible. After running a few quotes, you should become a pro at it, and it should become second nature. Beyond that, if you want to navigate or get out of some of this information, or you want to go back to the dashboard, or you want to switch to your different product line, you can do it a couple different ways. One of which is you can hover over the product label and switch this way to go to My Account or Dashboard, or you can click this navigation button to switch that way. So we allow multiple different options to be able to move throughout the system. So we'll go ahead and move to a Medicare Advantage quote. And this will take us to the Medicare Advantage screen. It's going to look very similar to how the MedSup did, but obviously a different product line. We try to make the tools as simple but also as congruent as possible. So if you can run a quote on one system, you can run them on them all. So we'll go ahead and type in this zip code here. So the only thing the Medicare Advantage plans require is the zip code and then which plan you wanted to look at. So if you wanted to look at Part D or the special needs plans, you can. We'll go ahead and press Get Quote. It's now going to price these out based upon cheapest to most expensive. As you can see, it's going to look very much the same. The quick quote section is still going to be here. The compares are still going to be here. The export features, the expand and contract quotes is still going to be available. In terms of the product information, it is going to be somewhat different. Obviously, the price is normally zero. Some of them do have monthly costs, and we will represent those for the ones that do. But we'll also show you the max out of pocket. And so this is how it's ranking them. It's showing them cheapest to max out of pocket all the way to the most expensive. We'll give you the plan name, if it's an HMO or a PPO, etc. Star rankings, if there's a drug benefit, gap coverage, drug deductibles, all that type of information, that base information about the company that would be important to look at. If you want to look at a company more in depth, co-payments, co-insurances, things like that, you can click this Plan Details button. And what this is going to do is it's going to take you to a new page, and it's going to break down all the in-depth benefit information that are associated with these plans. And so if you wanted to look at the monthly premiums, if it has ambulance coverage, co-pays, co-insurances, you'll do that from here from this feature. Now, this can also be exported or printed off to PDF. So if you wanted to share this information with a client and they weren't sitting with you there in your office, you can print it off and take it with a meeting with you. One neat feature about the Medicare Advantage plan is we do allow agents to fill in the gaps with hospital indemnity. So all you need to do is click this Fill in the Gaps tool. A lot of agents, maybe where a Medicare Advantage plan falls short, they're going to run a hospital indemnity plan to go along with it. And so it'll bring along the zip code that you typed in, and you just need to select an age, gender, and tobacco status. You'll click Add Comparison. It's now going to load all the results that are available in terms of HI plans for that zip code that you ran, as well as for the age and gender and the tobacco status that you ran. It'll then allow you to select which one you want to look at. And so if here's the list of all the ones you want or have or available to you. So for argument's sake, we'll click Medico. We'll click Add to Comparison. What this will do is it'll put your MA plans on the left-hand side and your hospital indemnity plan on the right-hand side and allow you to compare it side by side to see, okay, what's the best information that I can provide to my client. Maybe a hospital indemnity plan is important to them. So you can see on the base plan, it's just $18.80 a month. As you could scroll down, you can see for ambulance, you can add additional ambulance benefit to the plan. If it's not available, that means that hospital indemnity plan does not include those types of benefits. If you wanted to add a lump sum cancer benefit, you can. As you click and add different plans, it'll show you what the total cost of that selection would be, and it'll also adjust the monthly price up here. So it does all the math for you. And so it's just a neat tool. It's just a neat way to kind of expand on just the MA plans to some more products. So that's the Medicare Advantage tool. As you can see, very similar look and feel to the Medicare Supplement tool. And we'll go ahead and move on to the Final Expense tool. Kind of a reoccurring theme. It's going to look very much similar to what you've seen before. We'll go ahead and type in a zip code for that we want to write, age, gender, tobacco status, and it'll also provide you the city and state that you're running it for. One thing that you can do that's different than the other product lines is there's two ways to run the quote. You can choose to select the face amount that you want to run, or you can choose to select the monthly rate. So let's say your client can afford $50. You can run it that way, and it'll tell you corresponding face amounts for those plans. We're going to default to the level benefit, but as you can see, we have the graded, single pay, 10/20 pay plans, return or premium. If you want to look at those other final expense options, you can. We'll go ahead and run a $10,000 face value plan for a 65-year-old female non-tobacco user. It's going to price these out cheapest to most expensive because we are sorting by price, and it's going to provide a little bit different look than previously. in that these are based upon face amounts and not benefits. Price per month and the company that you're looking at, the annual fee that's associated with it, the plan name is important to understand which plan you're looking at, AM Best and S&P ratings, parent companies, etc. It'll also tell you if it does have underwriting or if it's a guaranteed issue product, and you can see that here under the underwriting tab. This is going to have all the features that the other tools do. The compare quotes, the universal compare, if you wanted to put this side by side with like a MedSup, you can. The export features are still all here. The expand and contract views are still here, as well as if you wanted to apply these fees to the rate, because it is a reoccurring fee, you can choose to apply them to the rate. The orders will adjust, and it does the math and within the system for you. Beyond that, we also can show you the quarterly, semi-annual, and annual rates for these final expense plans. Those sometimes are important, those different payment methods, so we want to be able to provide you all those different payment option looks. Lastly, we have underwriting data. Works the same way to the MedSup. If you're dealing with somebody that has to go through underwriting and they happen to have some medical history, you can use that to find out not just based upon price, but which plan would actually accept them as an insured. And lastly, a filtered quotes here is if you only want to view a guaranteed issue plan, you can choose to filter that way, and it'll kind of take away all the underwriting plans to kind of help you narrow down your results. Those are the tools. We just wanted this video to be informational, and so that you can see the value in this and help you use this on a day-to-day basis to make your life easier. Go ahead and go back to the dashboard page here. I hope everybody enjoys using the tool. Again, if you have questions, go ahead and click that contact support button on the right-hand side of this dashboard screen. If you have questions or issues when you're running the quotes, I appreciate everybody's time and have a great day.